Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Okay, so at the jail, you are Andrew Mitchell, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And we will take up your case on the record in 2024 CR 45, State of Kansas versus Andrew Elijah Mitchell, County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state, Mr. Mitchell in person, in custody, and pro se. Mr. Mitchell, this is your formal first appearance. You are accused by the state in count one of unlawful possession of the controlled substance marijuana and or its active ingredient THC. As charged, this is a class B non-person misdemeanor. The penalties for that could be a maximum 6 months in jail and $1,000 in fines. In count two, you're accused of unlawfully possessing drug paraphernalia in the form of a smoking pipe and knife used or possessed to either store or contain, conceal, inject, ingest, inhale, or otherwise introduce controlled substance into the human body. As charged, this is also a class B non-person misdemeanor with penalties of up to 6 months in the county jail and another fine of up to $1,000.
$10,000 cash.
In count three, you're accused of transporting an open container.
Whoever's talking at the jail needs to stop because I can't hear over it.
Yeah, is there someone there? Is there a deputy that's not muted or? Oh, I muted the defendant, but I need to make sure I can still talk to the defendant. In count three, sir, you're charged with transporting an open container of alcoholic beverage in an automobile on a highway or street open to the public, specifically an open bottle of Captain Morgan alcohol. This is charged as an unclassified misdemeanor. It carries its own special penalties of up to 6 months in jail, up to a $200 fine and or both. And if you have a prior conviction for transporting an open container, the court must suspend your license up to a year. In count four, you're accused of operating your vehicle without proof of liability insurance. A B misdemeanor, up to 6 months in the county jail. But unlike the other two misdemeanors, this has a minimum fine that must be imposed of $300 up to $1,000. Now, if you can unmute so I can hear you. Do you have any questions so far, Mr. Mitchell, about what I've gone over?
Is there possible, can I apply for an RO?
An RO, an OR? Like
An OR, I apologize.
All right, well, we will get to that, but before we get to the issue of the attorney, do you have any questions about the charges?
As far as the open container, I was not under the influence of any of those substances.
Excuse me, you're not charged with DUI, which would be under the influence, but I'm not asking you just yet how you want to plead. Do you want to talk to an attorney before we proceed further on these charges? You do have the right to hire an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, you have the right to apply for court appointed.
I would like to apply for a court appointed.
All right, are you employed?
No.
How long have you been unemployed?
Since I've been in about a week.
All right. What kind of work did you do before you became unemployed?
I was working for a Parks and Rec company. It's called REAP, Raytown Education Assistance Program.
What? How old are you?
21.
You're 21, high school graduate?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been employed for how long with the Parks and Recreation?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. And did you lose that job because you were incarcerated?
Yes.
All right. So do you think you could go back to that?
Yes.
And what do you get paid per month for that?
Per month, I made about $2,000.
$2,000 a month, and you've been there 6 weeks. And are you married or single?
Single.
Do you have any minor children that you support?
No.
Do you pay any rent or mortgage?
No.
Okay. Do you have any expenses to speak of?
Yes, I have a car payment and insurance.
And what kind of vehicle do you have?
Nissan Sentra.
And what do you pay per month for the Nissan?
$401.
And that's per month?
Yes.
And then you said you pay insurance. How much per month for your insurance?
Insurance has gone to $520, I believe.
Do you have any other expenses? Telephone, anything?
Currently, no, not that I'm aware of.
Hopefully you'd know if you had expenses. So you basically have an extra income of $1,079 to do with as you wish each month?
Yes. Actually, I apologize. Can you repeat that question again?
You basically have $1,079 you can do with as you wish each month after you've paid your bills. That puts you just a hair over the line or right at the guidelines. And you're not totally sure your job will be there when you get back, or are you?
I'm not completely sure, but I've talked to a friend that is in that company still, and he said he would talk to my manager.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and appoint Attorney Richard Paw, and I believe the deputy there can give you Mr. Paw's contact information. And Missy, when does he come back to court?
July 9th at 3:30.
You'll need to be back here by Zoom July 9th at 3:30. But you need to make sure you've got good connection on the Zoom if you're going to appear by Zoom. Make sure we can see and hear each other, okay? You said you live in Raytown, or did I maybe just infer that?
I live in Blue Springs, Missouri.
Okay. There is also, well, the attorney can talk to you about the diversion program. See if you're eligible. Your bond is set at $1,500, but you haven't been able to make that?
No, ma'am. I'm completely broke right now.
Probably a good reason we appointed an attorney then. You don't have family that's willing to help you out on that?
I've tried. I'm currently going through a hard time in my life.
Well, $1,500 sounds pretty reasonable for 2 misdemeanor drug charges and transporting open container and no vehicle insurance, and especially for an out-of-state resident. Ms. Gillette, is there anything you want to say about bond? Oh, go ahead, sir. I'll let you speak first.
I do have insurance. As far as I failed to show the insurance to the
Okay, well, I'm gonna
officer.
stop you there and have you talk to your attorney about that. He'll tell you what to do about that.
Okay.
That's good that you can provide proof, but he'll tell you how to address that. So let's let Ms. Gillette talk. Do you have anything you want to say about that on behalf of the state, Ms. Gillette?
Judge, as far as his bond is concerned, I'm asking for a cash surety bond. He was issued a citation to be here in court. He was given a break on the speeding because he was stopped for speeding and it wasn't added to his charges. And he was directed to be here March 19th, 24 at 1:15 p.m. by Zoom. He didn't contact anyone and didn't show up in court. We issued a warrant based on the type of charges these are for failure to appear in March, on March 19th. was taken over 2 months to find him and track him down. He was eventually arrested in Lenexa. He's also facing similar charges in Johnson County, currently in 23 CR 3142, possession of marijuana, drug paraphernalia, speeding, and also MIP, because he was 18 to 20 when he got stopped there, and he's had a birthday to turn 21 by our case. And that case was caught in September of 2023. So he's facing the same charges there with court-appointed counsel. Therefore, because he lives in Missouri, he failed to appear, he has the same charges elsewhere, I would ask for a cash surety bond on this individual. I don't mind if it is lowered. Right now, he's currently at $1,500. But I would still request a cash surety bond so that the bondsman is responsible for bringing him back to the state of Kansas should he choose not to come to court again.
Okay, well, Mr. Mitchell, I'm gonna leave your bond at 1,500. With all of those factors the state just recited, it could be more, but I'm gonna leave it at 15,000 cash or surety. He's been in jail, he said, a week, and then, Missy, is there any way we can get that any closer than July 9th? That's not that far away, but it is if you're sitting in jail, maybe.
Yeah, and you just said 15,000, but you meant 1,500, right?
I did. I just can't get my brain and my tongue to connect here. Yeah, 1,500. Hope I didn't scare you too much on that, young man. 1,500 cash or surety. But yeah, can you get that any sooner than July 9th?
Mr. Paul's gonna be here a week from today
Can we try that?
if he can get discovery in time.
Ms. Gillette, do you think we can get discovery to Mr. Paul on time?
I can get it, everything except for DVDs to him today. We can scan and send him
All right.
the paper.
And when you give him the appointment or when you send that, let him know he's 21 years old and sitting in jail. And Missy, that's at what time? 3:30?
Yes.
Okay. So what day of the month is that?
June 18th at 3:30.
All right, June 18th, 1 week from today at 3:30. You'll be back here in court again, absent something unforeseen. And your attorney is Richard Paul, and I'd ask the jail to make you available to Mr. Paul so that you two can talk before that court date. And you can get him that proof of insurance that he's gonna want. Okay, if there's nothing further, we'll be in recess at this time. Mr. Mitchell, you are excused from these proceedings. Deputy, you will give him Mr. Paul's number and make it possible for him to talk to his attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You said to move it up to next week, Judge.
Yes, June 18th at 3:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.